Today we are discussing insect growth regulators. So far we discussed the conventional insecticides which mainly target the nervous system of the insect and cause mortality. Unlike these conventional group of insecticides, our insect growth regulators are very unique in their mode of action and chemistry. As the name implies, these insect growth regulators act certainly on the growth process of the insect and cause mortality. As far as insects are concerned, they do undergo several changes in their lives during their life stages. If you take Helicoverpa armigera, which belongs to order Lepidoptera, for an instance, it do consist of 4 life stages, and we all are very much familiar of those life stages, and they are egg stage, larval, pupal, and the adult stage. So as we all know, the larval stage has most economical importance as it causes substantial damage to our crops by their feeding habit. So the larval stage, before metamorphose into pupa, it will undergo several instars, and at each instar, the larva of Helicoverpa armigera, before metamorphose into pupa, it has to complete several instars, and at each instar the larva will molt into another larva, and here the molting is nothing but the shedding of or removal of old exoskeleton and or old cuticle and developing a new one. So in the insect, the molting process is mediated by main 2 brain hormones, and they are ecdysone hormone and juvenile hormone. So these two are the important brain hormones which regulates or mediates the molting process in the insect. So when an insect is mature enough or ready to molt, it stops feeding, and at that stage the protocerebrum will activate the prothoracic glands to secrete ecdysone hormone, and as soon as ecdysone hormone is appeared in the insect body, it will initiate it initiates molting, and as I said, after each molt the insect has to develop a new cuticle. So after shedding off or removal of old cuticle, the concentrations of juvenile hormone will substantially increase in the insect body. So at higher concentrations of juvenile hormone, our epidermal cells will secrete the larval cuticle. So this is how the larva will molt into another larva, and this will happen until the last larval instar. But at last larval instar, the concentrations of juvenile hormone will decline very rapidly in the insect body, and at lower concentrations or insufficient concentrations of juvenile hormone, our epidermal cells will secrete the pupal cuticle. So this is how a larva will metamorphose into pupa. So in a nutshell, here we can note that these ecdysone hormone and juvenile hormone are very important to regulate the molting process in the insect body. So when an insect is mature enough or ready to molt into another larva, it stops feeding, and at that stage the protocerebrum will activate the prothoracic glands to secrete the ecdysone hormone, and this ecdysone hormone will initiate the molting, and so after each molt the larva has to develop a new cuticle. So after shedding off or removal of old cuticle, the concentrations of juvenile hormone will increase very substantially in the insect body, and at higher concentrations these epidermal cells will secrete larval cuticle. So this is how one larva will molt into another larva, and this will happen till the last larval instar, and at last larval instar the concentrations of juvenile hormone will decline very rapidly, and at lower concentrations of juvenile hormone our epidermal cells will secrete pupal cuticle instead of larval cuticle. So this is how the larva will metamorphose into pupa. So in this stage, at this last larval instar, if we able to apply any ecdysone agonists or juvenile hormone mimicking molecules, so they do cause mortality by means of forming deformed intermediates. Agriculturally important ecdysone agonists are tebuphenozoid and halofenozoid. So these are agriculturally important juvenile hormone mimicking molecules. These juvenile hormone not only mediate the molting process in the insect, but it is also important, it is also essential for egg yolk formation in adult female, and male sex glands, for development of male sex glands in adult male insect. So As far as these molecules are concerned, these methoprene and hydroprene are very much potent against mosquito larvae. And if you talk about methoprene, these methoprene can also be used to control cigarette beetle. So these cigarette beetle is one of the most important pests of tobacco, and it will cause substantial damage in stored tobacco. And these methoprene is found effective against these cigarette beetle. And if you consider these phenoxycarb and pyriproxyfen, these two molecules are very much potent against white flies. So if you compare these phenoxycarb with pyriproxyfen, this pyriproxyfen is more potent than phenoxycarb, and this pyriproxyfen can also causes abnormalities in adult females by interrupting embryogenesis. So this is how these juvenile hormone mimicking molecules are used in agriculture, and these molecules are very specific and they do not cause much hazardous to our helpful insects. So these molecules can be incorporated in IPM programs. So these molecules can be used in integrated pest management programs. So the another group of insect growth regulators is chitin synthesis inhibitors. So as we discussed, actazone hormone is important for molting process in the insect. So after each mold, the larva has to develop a new cuticle. So that cuticle is generally a chitinous cuticle. So in the insect, chitin synthetase is an important enzyme which mediates the synthesis or biosynthesis of the chitin and deposition in the insect. So the enzyme is chitin synthetase. So our chitin synthesis inhibitors actually act on the biosynthesis of the chitin and causes mortality. So the agriculturally important chitin synthesis inhibitors are benzyl phenylureas and buprofagin. So in benzyl phenylureas we have 4 different molecules. The important molecules of benzyl phenylureas are diflubenzuron, teflubenzuron, chlorfluazuron and hexafluomuron. So these molecules are very much potent against the larval stages. So the lepidopteran larvas. So these molecules are very potent against lepidopteran larvas, and so these buprofagin is very effective against white flies and brown plant hoppers in rice. So these molecules are also very specific in their mode of action and their chemistry, and these molecules can also be incorporated in IPM programs. So these chitin synthesis inhibitors should be used when the larva is in molting process. So these are very effective when we use it at the stage of molting. This is how these insect growth regulators are studied and their importance in agriculture. So majority of these insect growth regulators are incorporated in IPM programs because of their low toxicity and their selective toxicity.